What does a bankruptcy attorney do? The phrase financial disaster is so fraught with terrible pics that buyers have a tendency to forget about the actual reason at the back of filing. That gives safety from creditors, and it affords comfort from some, or perhaps even all debt obligations. And that is precisely what a financial ruin attorney must do: protect your belongings from debt collectors and discover a way to free you from economic responsibilities. While it's permissible to file for financial ruin pro se on your very own, data say you will get a whole lot happier end result if you employ an attorney, regardless of whether or not you select Chapter 7 or Chapter 13 bankruptcy. According to Ed Flynn of the American Bankruptcy Institute, legal professionals represented buyers in 91.5% of the 486,347 Chapter 7 instances filed in 2017. Lawyers had their clients' debt discharged, that means eradicated, in 96.2% of the cases. Put every other way, 428,097 human beings walked out of court docket debt-free. By contrast, humans who represented themselves in Chapter 7 financial ruin instances have been profitable simply 66.7% of the time. The stats are even greater dramatic for buyers who selected Chapter 13 bankruptcy. Consumers representing themselves succeeded simply 2.3% of the time. That quantity soared to a 41.5% success charge. Money owed have been discharged after finishing a compensation design when a legal professional represented a consumer in a Chapter 13 case. So, if your monetary popularity has soured and you favor safety from lenders and alleviation from debt obligations, a financial disaster legal professional ought to be your ticket to a clean start. What should I expect from a bankruptcy attorney? Bankruptcy, like most criminal matters, is a procedure, and the most secure route is to have a lawyer information you through the technique if you prefer to succeed. A precise financial disaster legal professional will supply you peace of idea if they furnish at least these 4 things. And preliminary session, generally free. To get an overview of your case, advice on alternatives available, along with what type of financial disaster to file. Completed forms vital for submitting bankruptcy. Representation when the case goes to court. The financial disaster technique starts off evolved with a 30-minute 60-minute interview between you and a lawyer. If you are married, each of you must attend so that all questions can be answered actually and accurately. The legal professional will be capable to lay out your choices, which includes the plausible to file financial ruin barring a spouse. Making guesses about how a lot you owe and who you owe it to is no longer a precise idea. The lawyer will choose some forms that backs up your solutions on how many property you have and how a lot you owe. Don't preserve something lower back if you desire a straightforward and correct evaluation of your situation. The recommendation your legal professional offers you is solely as suitable as the records you provide. When the lawyer has sufficient documented proof to consider your case, he need to provide recommendation on how to proceed. A correct lawyer does now not constantly suggest submitting bankruptcy. It's viable your hassle ought to be resolved through much less drastic capability like debt contract or perhaps even a debt management program. If your selection is to file bankruptcy, the subsequent element to anticipate from a lawyer is submitting forms with the court. Remember that the lawyer is there to shield as many of your belongings as she can, so chime in on what is most necessary to you. The subsequent step relies upon the kind of bankruptcy. In a Chapter 7 case, you would show up earlier than a Chapter 7 trustee for evaluate of your financial disaster petition. In most cases, your attorney has executed all of the heavy lifting up front. By presenting thorough and whole schedules alongside with backup documentation to the trustee, these conferences are commonly painless when you use an attorney. In a Chapter 13 case, matters can get tricky. Not solely should you meet with the Chapter 13 trustee, however you have to current a Chapter 13 plan which will be standard via the court. This is the section that place most humans' hostilities when submitting except a lawyer. Your Chapter 13 plan ought to meet all necessities in the bankruptcy code to be confirmed through the court. Do I need a bankruptcy attorney? Consumers may additionally select whether or not to employ a lawyer or signify themselves in submitting bankruptcy. However, as the numbers referred to above from the American Bankruptcy Institute absolutely demonstrate, hiring a legal professional is a large advantage. The math on this issue is overwhelming. Only 1 in 25 shoppers the usage of a lawyer is denied a discharge when submitting Chapter 7.